Hello and welcome to this evening's A World Awakening. Now, A World Awakening is Andrea Perron's show. I am not Andrea Perron. I am Rupert. Andrea is busy in the build-up to Halloween, doing in-person events all over the country. And so she asked me to step in for her today. For those of you that don't know me, I am a spiritual advisor. I am a space scientist. I am an alien contact specialist. And in today's show, I am excited to welcome two of my close friends and Andrea's friends also to this show, April McQueen and Bettina Norman. And maybe, Bill, you could let them in now, and then I will go through a full introduction. Hello, you two. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for it.
You're very welcome. Now, April McQueen is the co-owner of Omnia Events, formerly KC Spirit and Paranormal, and also leads the Omega Paranormal KC. KC stands for Kansas City Investigative Team. She has experienced many unexplained phenomena, including shadow figures, telepathic communication with extraterrestrials, a close encounter with a UAP, and more. April's mission is to bring more of an understanding around the paranormal and host events where people feel comfortable to discuss their personal experiences with the mysterious universe. And Bettina was born and raised in Germany. She is an accountant by trade. She is also an international master Akashic record reader, a medium, and certified Akashic record teacher with over 10 years experience in giving readings to hundreds of people. She is also co-owner of KC Spirit and Paranormal, a metaphysical and paranormal event planning organization. So it's so good to see you again, to talk to you again, to have you on the show. I'm going to start off by asking, how was it that you two came to have Andrea at one of your events a few months ago? Who did you know? How did that all come to be?
You want to take that one, Bettina? Or?
Go for it, yes.
Well, I knew Greta, who is Andrea's talent manager, through a friend. And so I contacted her to find out who can come. And I really wanted Andrea to come, but she was busy. And so we had booked somebody else. And unfortunately, they had double booked for that time frame. And so they couldn't come either. And Andrea, being the amazing person she is, stepped in and came in their place.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, full circle.
It was meant to be.
Yeah. And it's interesting you say it was meant to be. Now people have seen Andrea and myself together quite a lot, forming a partnership in trying to help the planet. And we feel that we were guided together and we met at your convention. And it feels like part of the story is that... But Bettina, do you want to maybe fill in some of the gaps here? Because
sure.
Yeah.
So, like April said, the amazing Andrea stepped in, and of course, you are our star of the show. You have supported us like through every event we had, and you've always been so kind and attended, and we really love you, and we're so glad that you always came. And I feel like as a reader, I always feel like there are certain things that have to happen, and I told you that before when we messaged that I know Andrea was there, but every time we had a get together or a dinner, I felt like I need to call you. I need to message you. I felt like you need to be there for some reason. I didn't know what the end result would be, but Spirit always told me, tell Rupert to show up. And you did. Like you always do. So, and the rest is history, I guess.
So you feel that spirit guided you to make sure that I
Yes.
was coming to these gatherings.
Yes.
And because of that, Andrea and myself met. And when she saw
Yeah.
me, she said, that's who I'm supposed to meet. That's why I'm here.
Right.
It's fantastic.
I believe that, yes.
Now, am I right that both of you have psychic abilities, or I don't know how you would put that into words? Maybe April, you could go first. What abilities do you have that are beyond just sort of regular physical abilities?
I'm still learning those. Bettina's a little bit more seasoned than I am, but I know I've seen shadow figures since I was a child in different forms. I'm learning to see people's energy. I'm seeing more portal activity. I can see things like that and experience those. And also, as you know, recently I've tapped into telepathic communication with other beings.
Yeah. And you came to a CE5 event, an alien contact event that I put on the evening of one of those days where I was at the convention. To the extent that you feel comfortable, would you like to share? And it's okay that some of these experiences are a bit intense, but you had some interesting experiences at that event, didn't you?
I did. So we had joined Rupert and his group on the paranormal side to see if we could gather some scientific evidence of the alien communication that they were experiencing. And so one of the techniques that we use is the Estes method, where you put on headphones kind of like these, and you use a spirit box, which scans like radio stations, and the spirits can typically speak through the radio stations as they scan. So I wanted to see if an alien could speak through that, and we could get some communication going that way. But one of the things that can also happen is it can put you in a meditative state, and you can start getting, tapping into your psychic abilities. That kind of happened that night. And so I'm sitting there, and before that happened, let me back up. Off to the right side of where you guys were at, through night vision binoculars, I saw this blue orb going in a circle. It was like a portal type circle, and it was going clockwise, and it was just kept going in a circle. And I tried to hit record on the night vision binoculars, and we couldn't get it recorded. But my husband also saw it through the binoculars. And so after I put the headphones on and got into the psychic or the meditative state, I saw a probably 4-foot alien being. It was behind where you guys were, and she was holding, I say she, but I'm not sure if it didn't have any characteristics of female, but because it was holding a baby, I just automatically assumed it was a female. And she started talking to me about what they're going through as a race on this planet, and how humans are affecting that.
Yeah. And it was a very intense experience for you, not because the alien was being mean to you in any way, but because the messages that were being given to you were disturbing because of humanity's impact on the planet and on them.
Well, and then I don't know if they have emotions or not, but it seemed like she had such intense emotion that she wanted to convey to me. I don't know if it was because that way she knew I would pay attention, but I couldn't really talk about the experience for a good week without breaking down. So it was one of those things that she was saying that, humanity has caused their race to lose family members, lose their children. I had the feeling the baby she was holding was deceased or dying. Whenever I asked her how we can help, she said it's too late, that they have to leave for a while and they're going to come back whenever it's safe, that the pollutants that we've been putting into the world is making it hard for them to breathe. And man-made illnesses has also made it to their race or their species. I'm not sure that whoever, their alien species, and is causing them sicknesses. And it was just very, very hard.
Very intense, very upsetting.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because one thing that a lot of people don't realize about a lot of the beings that we refer to as alien is the Earth is their home. The Earth is their home. They've been here for tens of thousands of years, definitely, but almost certainly hundreds of thousands of years. And they may live in places where we don't see them, but they do live on this planet, and our activities on this planet do affect them. And the experience that April just described, that's not an isolated experience. Many people are receiving the same messages from these beings. In Andrea's recently released documentary, We Are Not Alone, the documentary makes it very clear that there are two main messages coming from these beings, that the aliens have been landing for decades and giving us two main messages. One message is nuclear weapons are a bad thing. The second of the messages is environmental, that we're devastating the planet, that we're pushing ourselves towards a catastrophe. So, April, I'm so glad that you, in spite of a very disturbing experience, you had the courage and the strength to tell me about this, and to make a decision that you would actually like to help them if you possibly can.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out how. I'd like to see if we can replicate that at some point and see if we can get more answers to find out how we can help. But I guess just living day by day and the best we can is what we can do right now.
Absolutely. Well, I will be coming back to the Kansas City area again as soon as I can. So when the weather's a little bit warmer, hopefully we can do another of those. And Bettina, would you mind explaining how do you describe your abilities?
So what I do is I read the Akashic Records. And so for those who don't know what that is, the Akashic Records is really the journey of your soul. So if you believe in multiple lives or reincarnation, so it would be from the inception of your soul up until this very moment, everything your soul has ever experienced, whether it is on this planet, in this universe, or wherever your soul was, there's a record of that. And that's where I tap into. And I get the information from what we call in the Akashic world, masters, teachers, and loved ones. So masters and teachers are higher beings. Some of them have incarnated into a human life and some of them have not. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I guess I could talk about that for a long time, but that's kind of the basics of it. And so when I open somebody's records, I tap into, or I talk to their masters, teachers, and loved ones and spirit guides, and that's where I get the messages. So it's really about what do the higher beings in your life or in your soul, that are connected with you on a soul level have to tell you. It goes really deep. A lot of times people come to me and they want readings. And once we go really deep, they're almost shocked. And I always try to warn them, I said, are you sure you want to know everything? And they're like, oh yeah, sure. And then once I dive into it and they're like, oh my God, I didn't know it would be that deep. So I guess you call it psychic, but it's really more than that. It's a lot more. And lately what I experienced is, for me, I made a decision that I would like to be more connected to the galactic, whoever's out there, more on a galactic level. And it's coming. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight, but I'm connecting more to beings that are not from this planet. And so, it's great. I love it. And that's what I do. So I do readings for people.
That is fantastic.
Thank you.
It's interesting, actually, at the conventions that our conventions that we've been doing together. I've started to get various mediums from around the room coming to me, bringing people along and saying, "Hey, Rupert, I don't usually see aliens when I talk to spirits, but there's an alien with this person standing with this person, and I feel like I should bring this person to you to talk to."
Wow.
Yeah. Now, I don't know much about Akashic records at all, so I apologize if my questions might
No, that's fine.
seem uninformed. When I think about records being stored somewhere, I've got an image of like stuff being written on paper in a folder somewhere. But is that the case, or is it more like there is access to being able to come into a time and a place and see what is or what was? Do you know in what form records exist?
I think that we talk about records because on a human level, this is what we can comprehend, right? So I always tell my clients, sometimes I have a hard time to describe what I'm hearing or what I'm seeing because there aren't enough human words to describe the divine messages that come in. So when I say records, it's the easiest way to describe to people to make them understand where I'm going. So I guess what I would say is like your whole existence is like a hall of records, like a humongous library. And then each life you had is a book. And so there are higher beings that are like the librarians, so to speak, and they take care of your records. But really, this will make it easy for people to understand what I'm tapping into. But it really is what you said. It's all on an energetic level, you know? And so, yes, so I do go to a place and a time. Sometimes when I open someone's records, I immediately get a past life. And I usually get that because the trauma or whatever happened in that one particular life really still impacts the person in this lifetime. So there's always a reason why spirit shows me whatever they're showing me. And usually it is spirit knows what's good for us. You know, they see the bigger picture. They see what your soul plan is, what your soul contract is, so to speak. And so lots of people have asked me whether, I see the bad stuff too. And I usually say no, because spirit knows what's good for us. And they will only show me what's beneficial for you to know at this moment in your life. Okay. So if you had a reading like today, they would tell me X. Okay. And then if you come back 6 months from now, the reading would be totally different. So it's always for what would benefit you in this moment in your life. Okay. And spirit knows what's good. So they would not give us something that would like really scare us or,
right.
Hurt us in any way. So.
Wow. And when you're giving readings to people, you're seeing ascended beings or master beings. You're actually, do you perceive the beings in front of you assisting you?
So sometimes I do. And again, it depends on the spirit or the spirit guides of the other people, and how they want to show themselves to me. So the messages come through all 5 clairs. So if you're not familiar with the clairs, it's clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairaudient, and claircognizant. And so the messages can come through in all of those ways or just in one. So it all depends on how their spirit guides want to communicate with me. So it could be all of it or maybe just one way.
Wow, fantastic. I'm curious to know when you two first came to the understanding in your lives that you had abilities that were outside of the norm, abilities that your friends around you or your family didn't have. April, can you remember your first sort of experiences or realization?
Well, growing up, like I said, I saw like shadow figures, but I thought everybody had seen them, so it didn't really faze me very much. But around 5 or 6 years ago is whenever I actually had my spiritual awakening. And it was down in Eureka Springs, and my husband was into crystals and stuff, but I thought they were just rocks, so I didn't really, care one way or another. So he was looking for this rock shop, and he was just looking for a certain rock. And we go in, and the lady that's working there, she's like, I have the perfect, you need to have this rock. And it was a celestite, a little blue crystal. And so she's like, you need this one, and you also need it was a brown crystal. It was in the shape of a heart, and I forgot what the name of that one is. It starts with a C. So I was like, okay. And so I go back to our cabin, and my husband likes to meditate. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot too. So I lay down. I put these crystals, one on my heart chakra and one on my forehead. And I start seeing colors and images and stuff that I'd never experienced before. And that kind of woke me up to be like, okay, what is this metaphysical stuff? And started learning a little bit more after that.
Wow, that's very cool. And Bettina?
So luckily I grew up in a family, I call my family the Addams family. So they all do something weird, so to speak. So I have aunts that do tarot cards, and my mom was always able to kind of, and that sounds probably a little like brutal, but she was able to see when somebody's about to pass over. You know, she always told me, oh, they look like they're going to die very soon, which is, I don't know, maybe it's not a gift, but it's something. So my whole family has always been very in tune with this. So when I was growing up, I was always encouraged, you know, like, well, if you see something or you feel something, you know, just let us know. And so I've known, for example, my earliest memory about something in the metaphysical world was when I figured out, I was maybe 5 or 6 when I figured out the law of manifestation. Because I remember vividly thinking to myself, you know, it's kind of weird. Every time I wish for something, it comes true. And I can't remember how old I was, but maybe 5 or 6. I was very young. And when I talked about it to my family, they're like, oh, yeah, that's how you do it. You just send it out to the universe, and the universe will take care of it. So I feel I was fortunate. You know, my family was very open, and they always encouraged it. And so for a long time, when I kind of was reading people, I didn't know what to call it. You know, psychic, medium, you know, there's so many terms out there. And then about 10 years ago, I had a reading with my teacher, a mentor. I had an Akashic record reading, and I'm like, that's it. This is what I need to learn. This is what I need to do. And I finally had a label. I had a name for, I can describe now what it is that I'm doing, you know? And so I just kind of put a name to what I've been doing all along. You know, I put a little sticky on it, or you know what I mean? It's like I've been doing it all along. I just gave it a name finally at some point. And so
it's hard and finding names for things and trying to navigate what does this specific name mean. I mean, what I've noticed that you two use is it the words paranormal and metaphysical? How do you define the difference between those two words?
It's a good question.
That really is. Whenever we look at, as a event planner side of it, whenever we look at vendors, there's a massive difference between the paranormal vendors and the metaphysical. Metaphysical tend to lean more towards the psychic and spiritual side, whereas paranormal looks at the scientific evidence to prove the existence of the metaphysical, if that makes sense.
Wow. I did not even know that there was any kind of distinction like that. I'm going to need to replay this recording and listen to those sentences and try and get those definitions clearer in my head, because I just use them for anything that isn't normal. But
so for us readers, we believe anything really. I mean, we're like, it's out there. We don't need proof. We just know because we tap into it every time, you know. So for us, that's proof enough. And then for somebody like April. Go ahead. No, it's fine.
And
for somebody like April.
Okay, I'm going to say April, go first.
Go for it.
The paranormal is kind of the same way, but they tend to want to have that physical proof in case somebody says, well, how do you know that's even happening? Or how is this true? Because then you can say, okay, well, here's an EVP. Here's a voice that nobody in the room did, or a shadow figure going across the screen. That's obviously not a human right there. And so it helps proof to the non-believers that this stuff is happening.
Right. Okay. And Bettina, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I just was going to say the same thing. And somebody like April, they just need proof. They want to have evidence, And for somebody like me, it's like I just know it's there because I feel it, I see it, I just know it. And the answer as readers, what we give sometimes when people ask us, well, why do you do this or why do you do that? And the standard answers is always like, because Spirit told me to,
Right.
And so, we don't need gadgets, but like April is just somebody who likes to do that, and that's kind of where
it has to do with what you were saying earlier, how you had growing up, you had this support behind you, and I had more of the conservative Christian background where any of this stuff was all evil. Okay. And so, I mean, I've had a hard life with that because I actually lost a whole group of friends over my spiritual awakening. And so it's one of those things that maybe it's just subconsciously, I'm like, okay, this stuff is really happening. Look. Yeah. And maybe that's how I look for it.
That's a good answer. Yeah.
Oh, April, I have to tell you, on the paranormal side, I just bought a thermal imaging camera.
I'm jealous. Are you going to use it for your CE5 events?
Oh, yeah. It would have been so useful to have that at the event that you came to. Mm-hmm. Do you recall what happened with your husband and Julie? Let me tell everybody what happened at this event. We had another one of our another medium from your event come to my alien contact event, and during the event she was seeing quite a lot of stuff. She saw a being sort of hovering above me in a protective way. She had a reptilian being materialized close to her, a face close to her, and this reptilian gave her its name, Ecard, I think, and Ecard placed its hands on her back and gave her healing over that session, because this lady Julie, a lovely person who we know in the KC spirit and paranormal community, she had been giving energy healings all day and was feeling very drained, was actually feeling quite ill. And over the course of the event, she was being healed by this reptilian being. But your husband went over, and I think Julie reached out her hand, and they held hands, and she said, "I feel really, really cold." And your husband, his hand and his arm just plummeted in temperature. He said it was a massive temperature decrease. If I had the thermal imaging camera there, I'm certain I would have been able to record that drop in temperature. And who knows, maybe even an image of this Ecard being.
That would be wild. That's cool.
Very, very cool. So how did you two meet?
Oh, Lordy.
This one's yours, Bettina.
God, I don't even know. Do I remember? So we were part of a group which was called, what was it called? Mocha and Metaphysics. Uh-huh. Yeah, it was a local group where people got together and just talk about metaphysical stuff. And so it was run by a mutual friend of ours. And so April was part of that group before I was. And so when I got there, I participated in the group a few times. And I don't know. I mean, at some point, and I can't remember exactly how, the question came up, like, why don't we do a fair? And so then it was like 3 of us organizing the fair. And at some point, the other lady, she's like, it's not for me. I'm going to step out of this. And so April and I were like, oh, okay, well, guess we're stuck with this now. And so we just went ahead and did it and, kept doing it so far. So, yeah, it was kind of like, I wouldn't say coincidence, but maybe a synchronicity, for us to meet.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And now you two, you're not just event planners, you are leaders of a big spiritual community. How does that feel? Can you talk a little bit about the challenges of that and maybe the successes of that?
One of the things that kept me going, and I know it has Bettina also, we only started this 2 years ago. And one of the things that's kept us going is seeing the healing thing that the people get whenever they come in. Because a lot of times whenever they come out of the room, we're like, well, how was your reading? How'd you like it? Some people are in tears because it's like they just got the healing and the words that they needed at that moment. I mean, there was even one lady that I remember with you, Rupert. I think it was last year, she came in and she seen a picture behind you of an alien being. You remember that story?
Absolutely.
Can you share that one?
She saw a picture that behind me on one of my banners that somebody had drawn of a being that they were in contact with. She pointed at it and she recognized it from some of her own experiences, and she hadn't come to terms with her experiences. She didn't know what was going on. She was being visited by these beings and taken by them. She burst into tears and said, "What is that? What is that? Why is it coming to me?" She was devastated, and I went outside with her and her friends to try and talk to her about it, about what it meant, and give her some advice about what she can do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just situations like that kept us going, because we can provide a place for people that don't really understand maybe what's going on with their spiritual journey or things that's happened to them. And you have a room full of people that you can talk to and ask these questions to. I mean, that was very fulfilling for us through the years.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people come in and they always so not scared, but very, I don't know, it's almost like timid, they always say that first they say, you probably think I'm crazy, but, and I always tell them, no, you're not crazy. And then after a while, when we talk, or they had readings where they get their confirmation, that whatever they're feeling is true, or it's normal, in this community, they leave and they're like, oh my God, I feel so much better. I found my tribe and I'm not crazy. I'm not making this up. This is really what I'm feeling. This is really what I'm seeing. And so it's like, wow, you just, provided comfort for another person. And so, and that makes that's a big deal for me.
And a lot of people that come into these events, not a lot of it, there's some, they feel alone. Like they feel like they're alone in this world, experiencing this stuff, and to know that there's other people experiencing the same thing. It just, you can tell the difference in their face whenever they walk in and when they walk out.
Very true.
That's wonderful, because there's so much of reality that we don't understand. Mm-hmm. And so many people are having experiences that are real, but you mm-hmm. don't really talk about them in our society.
Yeah.
And so to come to an event like one of your events and suddenly have access to not just lots of people who are having the same experience, but in many cases answers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's transformative. That's evolutionary. That's wonderful.
Answers. That's exactly it. Yes. Not just good advice or whatever, but answers. Yeah, I agree.
One of the things that really impresses me about the events that you two put on is you, more than any other event organizers that I know, you deeply, deeply care about the people, the vendors, the guest speakers, and the attendees. You care, and more than anything else, it seems a little bit to me like you're on a mission to spread love, to spread light. That's how it comes across to me.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. That means a lot to us.
Yeah.
But sometimes caring is all a burden too, because you care so much, and sometimes it's just really, it's exhausting too, but it's all part of the work. I feel like April and I talked about this many times, because with the planning comes, I mean, we had a lot of problems too, as you are aware of. And so, and we sit down sometimes and we talk and we're like, do we still want to do this, or is it really worth it? And we always come to the conclusion, yes, it is, no matter how hard things get sometimes, but we will just not stop in the foreseeable future anyway. So, as a light worker, I feel like for me personally, I can only talk for me right now, but April may feel the same. I feel like I am a light worker. I'm here. I was put on this earth to bring healing, awareness, and love, and spread the love and the awareness. So, even if it gets tough sometimes, you just can't give up. This is part of being a light worker. You just keep going and you push through, and that's just it.
I agree 100%. Yeah.
So I think so many people I talk to who are trying to do good in the world have experiences, because the more people you go out and connect with, yes, the more love you can spread and the more loving people you meet, but you do also meet more and more negative people.
Yes.
And also setting up of events where you have to deal with hotels and venues where they throw things at you last minute. They make you pay for the internet, and they didn't say that before, things like that. It is it's not easy putting on these events, is it?
It's not. No,
it's not. But at the end of the day, no matter how much we go through, we always come back to the fact that we need to keep doing this for not only for ourselves and the vendors, but for the community itself. Because even our last event, we had an event in St. Joe, Missouri, which it was our first event there. I think it's the first of this type of event in that area. And there were so many people that came through the door. It was like, well, what is this? They had so many questions that they had never experienced this type of stuff before. And so just to be able to spread that out and knowledge and just, I don't know, just be able to share with people it's I don't know, it's a calling of ours that we feel deep in our soul, I think.
Yeah. And they had a good time. They walked in. I mean, they were in there for like 3-4 hours, They came out with like
daily too.
And they come out with bags of crystals and whatnot. So I mean, and that's kind of like opening up a whole new world for them, And so, and it's good. As long as it's good, I think then we'll keep doing all that. So yeah.
Yeah, we have a deep passion to make it affordable for people to come to, because some of these other conventions that are similar, you pay $50, $60, $70, $100 to go to every day, and we try to keep our price point below $15 or $20, and that way the people that don't necessarily have a lot of money but have questions can still come and get their answers.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I've been very impressed with how your focus is not on acquisition of money. That's just not what it's about. Right. Obviously that helps, we've got to support ourselves, but that's not the focus.
Right.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourselves going in the future in terms of events?
We're actually in the process of rebranding now. We haven't announced it yet, but we are changing our name and doing different types of conventions. We're going to start doing not only the metaphysical and paranormal type, but we're going to maybe possibly try UFO or homesteading, because homesteading is kind of something that people need to know too. It's like self-sufficiency. What if, you're not able to go to the store and get food? You can still grow your own and learn how to preserve your own food. And so we're going to start doing those types of events, and who knows what other kind. Like, that's why our new name is Omnia Events, which in Latin, it means everything or all encompassing.
Wow. Homesteading. So that would include things like growing plants,
preserving, canning,
acquiring water, if the mains goes out.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I feel like the way the world's going right now, I mean, I feel like that people need to go back to figuring out how to take care of themselves in case something happens. And we're always trying with our events. I mean, yes, it's metaphysical and paranormal, and you get answers and it's fun, but we're always trying to get ahead of problems too, and see where the trend's going, and see that there's something for everybody, and so we're always brainstorming and see what we can do.
Wonderful. I love those ideas.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do either of you have any sort of high points? Because you've had so many different guest speakers come to your events, and either sort of in the public arena of the convention areas or backstage. Do you have any high points that you've experienced with any of these guests?
Oh
Do you
my
want
God.
to go first?
It's like, where do I begin? I mean, it was July when, Rupert, when you met Andrea and when we had Travis Walton at the event. And I mean, there were so many times I wanted to pinch myself, because you were there, we were sitting in a hotel room with like Travis Walton, his son, Andrea Perron, and we were eating pizza, it's like never on napkins because we forgot to bring plates.
And
so
they
it's
didn't
like,
care. They were so down to earth. They didn't care. And that was pretty cool.
And so it's like, never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that, this is where I was sitting one day and having, Travis Walton, I saw the movie when it came out, and I would have never thought I would actually meet him. Or even Andrea, it was surreal, all the get-togethers we had. And it's surreal how down to earth those people are. I was a little bit intimidated when I first met them because I thought, well, surely, they know who they are, and, they would not maybe mix and mingle with like the regular people, but they were just like the most loving and kind and accessible people. It just blew me away. It really did, especially Andrea. It's just like, it changed my life, really, meeting her,
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I when you two told me, I don't know, like a year ago or something, that maybe you're going to have Travis Walton at the next event, and I was like, oh, fantastic! I hope I get to meet him, and because maybe we can have our booths together because we're in the same sort of field,
right?
And I would be just excited having a short chat with him, but then when that first morning where Travis hadn't turned up yet, and Travis was roaming around. Do you want to?
Yes.
Do you want to tell that story?
Who, me?
Either of you.
So this was our first time where we had like real celebrity guests, right? And we
Disclaimer
knew.
here.
We care so much, but hey, it was just the two of us planning this, right? And it was a big convention. And so we thought of everything. I swear we did. But, man, we just getting food organized was just a real problem for us. Okay. So we really failed in that department. So my apologies to Andrea and everybody who was there, but Travis comes to the convention center and he was really hungry and we had like nothing. Okay. And it was really embarrassing. We had nothing.
Well, there was supposed to be a cafeteria open and it wasn't open because we had planned on like relying on that cafeteria.
Yeah.
And it wasn't open.
And he had just gone for a long flight, right?
Yes. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel so embarrassed. What am I going to do? What are we going to do? And then I'm like, Rupert, see, so that's why you are our star, Rupert. You saved the day so many times. And I'm like, I just came to find you. And I'm like, Rupert, I'll pay you whatever if you just go and take Travis to lunch or, get something. And you're like, of course I will. And we went and found him and, you grabbed him, you got your car, you shoved him in your car and off you went. It's like, you saved the day once again. And so it's just, yeah. Those are behind the scenes things that, good memories. Good memories. So
yeah,
very much
learning
so,
points.
because there I was just hoping I'd be able to chat to him for a minute or two, and I'm taking him out for lunch or breakfast.
yeah.
I mean, it was only Wendy's, but still, it was.
He was
more than
happy.
Wendy's, though.
Yes.
They were happy. They were happy.
Yeah. So yeah. You've saved the day more than once, and you know that. So
yeah,
we're grateful to you, Rupert.
Yeah.
Well, I think when good people with good intentions come together, we help each other. It's
Right.
in the previous show, Soul School, I was talking about how we have the ability to elevate ourselves as a community, as a planet, so that we really do care about each other. We do.
Yeah.
We really help as many people as we can.
Yeah.
You two, I don't know if you have any would care to offer any advice to people in general, but you probably see that the world is having difficulties. Do either of you have any thoughts about how, at a community level, a family level, or international level, do you see it? Do you have any thoughts or ideas about what people could do, maybe even listeners to this show, to try and combat some of these really big global problems?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a big question.
It is, but it's right up my alley because Spirit is actually chiming in right now. And so I want to channel something real quick, if that's okay.
Yes.
So Spirit is saying, what you can do in these moments is, of course, you spread love and you spread joy. And another thing you can do is you can inspire people, and even if somebody is really ugly to you or rude or mean and they walk away still rude and mean, just be as kind as you can, because what I'm hearing right now from Spirit is this: do not ever underestimate the power of planting a seed. And so that person may walk away and you may never see them again, but just trust that there is a tree growing from that tiny seed. Okay. And you may never ever see the tree, but it doesn't matter because it will be there. You don't know how much you're going to affect that person in that moment, even though they're not going to show it to you. Okay. But down the road, or maybe in the future, that seed is going to blossom and it's going to sprout. Okay. And something good will come of it. So just don't give up, or don't just change or think that you cannot make a difference. So that's what Spirit is saying right now.
That's kind of what I was getting to, is the word kind just kept coming to mind. Like it starts with being kind to yourself, being kind to your friends and family, and then it will grow from there. Be kind and compassionate.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. That is lovely. And thank you for that. For people watching who don't have any psychic or spiritual or abilities or mediumship, can you explain what does it feel like to receive messages from Spirit, or from, like, do you see things? Do you hear things? Do you see beings? What does that feel like to get messages like that?
Okay, so for me, well, first of all, I want to say something. Every human being on this planet has the ability to be a psychic or a medium or a reader. It's the same way everybody can learn how to play the piano, but some people don't feel called to play the piano. They would rather go to a concert and listen to it, but they can still learn it if you want to. And it's the same with like being a psychic or a medium. Every person has that ability, but not everybody feels called to do it. Okay. So I feel like that's just what I want to say first. But for me, what it feels like is, so when I see things, for example, it's almost like having a memory. Okay. You can always see it in your third eye, and that the third eye is right here between, your eyebrows. So you either see a vision or something that feels like a memory. Sometimes it's just a knowing. So what I always tell people, listen to your gut feeling. When you have that feeling in the pit of your stomach and you just know that something is the truth, follow that, because that's your higher self speaking. Okay, that's your higher self guiding where you need to go. And sometimes it's just like getting goosebumps, or the hair in your neck stands up. It's just stuff like that, you know? And so it comes in so many different ways, but pay attention to just your body, you know, and your higher self will come through.
And with me, I see more like images and get words. And the way I ended up growing my ability is I followed a book called The Key by Echo Bodine. And she talks about how we all have the pineal gland that gets calcified through the years. And you have to work on decalcifying that pineal gland. And you'll actually feel like a pressure in your nose area whenever that happens. And it's not always comfortable because you can get headaches, but then you know what you're doing is working, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So if you were to have any advice for people who are embarking on this, it would be, how do you decalcify your pineal gland?
There's a whole series of things that she explains how to do, but one of the things is like you go through the mental process of physically. Like, okay, so what she has you do is that she turns on a light switch on your forehead, and that's turning on your third eye. So you put these physical things you can do to the spiritual things that's happening. And so as you're watching this happen in your mind, your pineal gland starts to decalcify, because then you start opening up your spiritual mind. Fantastic.
I've also heard that doing things like not having fluoride in your toothpaste and drinking distilled water, that sort of thing helps.
Yes. Which is interesting, because I just actually took my daughter to the dentist, and they give kids fluoride every 6 months for their teeth. And I actually stopped doing that this year with Kira because I had read the same thing. And so it makes me wonder, like, if it's not a bigger picture of like trying to tame down that ability in people in childhood, because they're giving them, I mean, every 6 months it's fluoride. Mm-hmm. So it's just interesting to think about.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're moving towards the end of this show. I would like to thank you two so much for being my guests on the show. It's been a pleasure talking to you. If people want to come to one of your events, they should check out which website?
kcspiritandparanormal.com, all spelled out. And it should direct you to the new website once that gets up.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much. I wish you two, and I wish all of our audience members all the peace, love, and happiness that is possible in this world. Thank you so much. I'm going to say goodbye for now. Take care.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.